Patagonia, 69 million years ago. This is White Stripe, a Carnotaurus. In this valley, he is the undisputed master. Yet, for all his dominance, he is alone. A Mosasaurus. The Titan of the Deep has crossed the boundary into White Stripe's world, and the peace of the morning is about to end. White Stripe strikes, not for food, but for dominance. He attacks the blind spot, a calculated blow. The message is clear. Return to the abyss. This earth is mine. She exudes an alluring pheromone, a silent, invisible beacon cast upon the wind. It is a signal designed for the distance, carried by the rising thermals of the interior.
T-Rex.
White Stripes Valley, the scale of life can be deceptive. This is a herd of Titanomachia. For a titanosaur, they are remarkably compact, the size of an elephant. A coelacanth watches them, a smaller relative of the valley's king. He is a hunter of the margins. Though coelacanths share the predatory grace of their larger cousins, they lack the sheer mass to challenge the Titanomachia herd in the open. To the coelacanth, they are a moving fortress of muscle and bone. A coelacanth can dream. Meanwhile, White Stripe has caught a scent, faint, ancient, and undeniable. It is the call to mate. To answer it, he must leave the safety of this valley. He must trade security for legacy. Of the South American skies. Descending from the Patagonian thermals, Arrow Titan touches the earth with a lightness that belies its imposing stature. As its wings fold into lean, angular stilts, its neck rises like a rigid crane to a towering 3-meter reach, revealing a creature of hollow grace, wrapped in shimmering pycnofibers. Within those bones lies a honeycomb of air. A pneumatic architecture that allows it to stalk the forest as a vibrant prism, poised at the intersection of fragile beauty and lethal efficiency. Outside the valley, the world is strange and armored. Saltosaurus, refugees from a drought. 12 meters, nearly 40 feet of stubborn barrel-chested muscle, they cannot help but pique White Stripe's curiosity.
Soham Shurabaya, Om 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 Soham Shurabaya.
Facing a fortress of bone and conical spikes, White Stripe wisely decides to move on. A juvenile Austroraptor moves as a feathered echo of its Paravian heritage. Its short, winged arms, a striking vestige of its bird-like kin, provide vital stability across the shifting river's edge. Here, the traditional weapons of the raptor have been traded for a more delicate precision. An elongated snout and fluted conical teeth, forged into a lethal instrument to spear the river's silver prey. Wading through the rising currents, White Stripe relies on a sophisticated olfactory system, a heightened sense of smell, powered by large specialized bulbs within the skull that can detect chemical signatures even through the damp river air. As he scales the slick, rocky incline toward the summit, his progress is fueled by the caudofemoralis, a massive engine of muscle anchoring his tail to his thighs, providing the explosive power and balance necessary to navigate this vertical world. Yet, as he reaches the precipice, the physics of the water take over. The churning spray at the waterfall's crest creates a sensory wall, a scent masking effect. It tears apart the delicate molecules he has been following. In this realm of chaotic acoustics and vapor, White Stripe's greatest asset is neutralized. Realizing the trail has been scrubbed clean by the torrent, he must yield to the environment. retracing his steps to find the path he lost. He scans the earth for a sign, a footprint, a broken branch. The clues are faint. Exhaustion takes him at the cliff's edge. Even monsters must dream. Morning brings the Titans, Dreadnoughtus, the fearers of nothing. They are monuments to biology, walking cathedrals of flesh and bone. They march with the inevitability of a glacier. Dreadnoughtus are returning from their nesting grounds, but they are not alone. A mate watches from the rocks, hunger breeding foolishness. The predator is shrugged off like a parasite, left to the dust as the great herd moves on. In the center of the column, the newborns are shielded by a wall of sweeping legs and thunderous footfalls. They have survived the gauntlet. The air begins to change. The scent of salt and dry earth gives way to something cool, heavy, and sweet. The horizon breaks. At long last, the giants find the water they have been searching for. The heart of the oasis. A rarity in the south of the Americas, the Perunkylosaur is a creature of jagged architecture, and quiet defiance. It is a mobile armor, a unique presence in the Patagonian wilderness. White Stripe and the armored traveler meet. They stand at a rare intersection. The apex tracker and the living stone. There is a moment of mutual curiosity as they weigh the presence of the other. Finding no immediate threat, they carefully continue on their separate journeys into the deepening shadows. White Stripe's horizon is overtaken by the Dreadnoughtus, drifting from their generational breeding grounds in the volcanic west. For millennia, the mineral-rich ash of the young Andes has nurtured their eggs. The giants seek the river, eager to smother the biting flies in the mud. Such a massive frame, they do not have the luxury of chewing. Using peg-like teeth to strip entire branches whole, they swallow the forest in a green torrent, destined for a massive, fermenting stomach that acts as a biological furnace. White Stripe looks up in reverence, transfixed by the saurian giants. For a fleeting moment, predator and prey exchange a glance of mutual wonder. The violence of their world is suspended. White Stripe continues on his journey. Time is of the essence. Depths of the Patagonian night, the storm becomes a weapon. The valley is no longer a kingdom. It is a landscape of jagged shadows and sudden, blinding clarity. Amidst the violent strobe of the lightning strikes, White Stripe senses a danger that refuses to be seen. It is a tremor in the air, a scent of the forest floor carried into the high rocks. He is being hunted by a phantom that mimics the very world around him. A trap set by a rival. Stripe can sense the Mape is near. Up the scent of a second Mape. He must tread carefully now. White Stripe finds sanctuary in the cold embrace of a cave. Here, the stone provides a tactical shield and a place to rest his weary head. The river runs dark, a shadowed vein through the landscape. Within its flow, the Gonkukin herd moves with a cautious, collective rhythm, harvesting the high-energy plants of the bank. The Mape watches. It is a phantom of the currents, submerged and calculating the distance to the herd. A single Gonkukin, lingering at the edge of the sanctuary, is the mark. The predator closes the gap, utilizing the water itself to mask its approach. In a sudden explosion of spray, the Mape strikes. Meanwhile, White Stripe's long journey nears its end. As he ascends toward the basalt castle, a phantom presence fills the air. It is a complex chemical map, pheromones and scent markers carried on the breeze, whispering to his ancient mind that he is no longer the only one of his kind. To White Stripe, this is more than a smell. It is a summons. And there, framed by the stone, is Grace. Neither has ever seen another of their kind. They meet with a rare, quiet shyness, but the recognition is instant. In the shadow of the stone, two solitary sovereigns find an immediate, ancient connection. But the peace of the castle is a fragile thing. From the riverline, the silence is shredded. A new scent tears through the harmony. Rot, mud, and raw aggression. The Mape has arrived. It does not come for a queen. It comes to usurp a kingdom. The war for the Basalt Castle has begun. Grace finds herself cornered and outnumbered. But White Stripe's arrival scatters the Mapes. Conflict spills into the river, a chaos of boulders and freezing spray. Against the Mape's jagged claws, White Stripe reveals the true genius of his evolution. Depth perception. With eyes set for three-dimensional vision, he reads the treacherous terrain with a surveyor's precision, finding footing where his rival only finds a slip. The Carnotaurus is a master of leverage. He muscles the intruder, using his superior strength to stay safely clear of those reaching claws. He turns the Mape against the rocks, and in the blink of an eye, it is gone. Safety of the rocks, a new generation breaks its shell. The play continues. The actors change, but the drama of life goes on.